Okay, this is my first video, and I'm gonna try a system where I read what I wrote down on my computer to you because, I think we've all been there, like in arguments where we have so much to say, but we can't say it all. I find that writing stuff down and then saying it is so much easier and avoids so much more confusion. So let's begin. After everything that happened at WrestleMania 33, the idea of Brock Lesnar defending his WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34 against Roman Reigns seems possible and at the moment is the most likely course of action for the WWE to take in 2017 hitting into 2018. However, the main problem for this idea is that the majority of the WWE universe doesn't have the same point of view as the company itself when it comes to Roman Reigns. In the early part of 2014, it seemed like Roman Reigns was on top of the world. He was the runner-up in the Royal Rumble that year, and on that night was backed by the fans who would have preferred him to win and go on to main event the biggest show of the WWE calendar year, instead of the real winner of that event, Batista. In the year that followed, the WWE tried everything it could to get Roman Reigns over with the fans, and at first their plan was working. Unfortunately, in September of 2014, Roman suffered an injury that took him out of action until December of that year. When Roman returned, he was still loved by the fans, but lost a lot of momentum he was riding high on before his injury. Then the fans realized that the man WWE was building up to hopefully one day be the biggest star of the current era and the hero who would eventually main event WrestleMania 31 and defeat Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship wasn't the best person on the microphone. This started a chain reaction that led to the seemingly universal resentment of Roman Reigns. 3 years later, Roman Reigns has gone on to main event 3 straight WrestleManias, including WrestleMania 33 against The Undertaker. The fans tried all they could, but despite their best efforts, Roman Reigns defeated The Undertaker and possibly retired him as well. Now he is without a doubt the most hated man in the current era of WWE, and there are rumors of him going on to main event his 4th straight WrestleMania next year in the Silver Dome in Sorry, my bad. I mean the Superdome in New Orleans. Obviously, this is not the favorite option in the eyes of the WWE Universe, as they would rather have somebody that they like to main event WrestleMania, especially if it means they get the opportunity to defeat Brock Lesnar on the grandest stage of them all. However, the real questions are whose beliefs are better, the WWE or its fans? And also, what will the main event of WrestleMania 34 ultimately be? In the next few minutes, I will go over some of the pros and cons of Roman main eventing 34 and also what I believe. Starting with the pros. Number 1. Back in 2015, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar as the main event of WrestleMania already happened, and even though the fans had a bad omen about the match during every second from the Royal Rumble onward, it turned out to be a good main event with a good finish and turned WrestleMania 31 into a positively received event in the eyes of a good portion of the WWE Universe. The problem is that Roman Reigns was still hated by the fans and they don't want to see him continue getting big opportunities like he's gotten these past few years. Pro number 2. Brock Lesnar is one of the biggest names in wrestling history, and even if you don't want to admit it, after what Roman did at WrestleMania 33, his name is now one of the biggest names in wrestling at the moment. They're both big names, and big names bring in revenue for the company, especially if they're booked in big matches and big shows, and you can't get a bigger match in the post-streak era of WWE than the main event of WrestleMania. As long as both of the competitors are not hated by the fans, then it doesn't matter if one of the big names is one that triggers thunderous boos, as I will explain in my third pro point. Number 3. People all over the world want one major thing to happen, and if it happens in the main event of WrestleMania, then it will be one of the happiest endings in WrestleMania history. This one major thing I'm talking about is Roman Reigns taking a long, grueling beating, publicized for the entire world to see. People of all ethnicities from many different countries and of different ideologies will pay good money to either make it to WrestleMania 34 or pay for the WWE Network to see Roman get destroyed. Even if it doesn't happen, the hope that the masses will have of it actually happening will create a huge marketing opportunity for the WWE and one that they would be foolish not to capitalize on. Now we get to the cons, and con number 1 is the idea of Roman Reigns getting destroyed leading to a big payday for the WWE is at the moment simple speculation. The fans might just not believe that Roman is going to lose and not be interested in the main event of WrestleMania whatsoever. The fans' hatred for Roman could result in the exact opposite of what I've stated above, and the fact that Roman will be hitting into his 4th straight WrestleMania main event could lead to one of the lowest spot WrestleManias in history. Con number 2. The fans already believe that Roman Reigns is the new John Cena. They believe that they know where WWE plans to take the guy, and they will not want to support the company into a future where Roman buries even more upcoming superstars that the fans like in a fashion similar to John Cena's run in the company. Con number 3. Roman Reigns main eventing WrestleMania 34 takes the spot away from another superstar who has worked so hard to achieve such an opportunity and who the fans feel deserve it. It isn't a good idea for a company to place all its hope in one man to carry it into the future because there's variables that goes into an individual person. It would be a smart idea for WWE to have a plan B, C, D, E, F through Z in place just in case Roman Reigns doesn't work out. For example, what if Roman Reigns eventually wants to leave WWE, but there's no one else in the company to take the torch from him? Now we get to the part where I give my opinion on what should happen for this matter. Before I do that, I want it to be known that no matter what I decide, I support Roman Reigns 100% and want him to have a good career. So when it comes to whether or not Roman Reigns should go on to main event WrestleMania 34, I believe that he in fact shouldn't go on to do that. In my mind, the cons just completely outweigh the pros, and there's one more big reason why I think he shouldn't. For the past few years, Roman has main evented WrestleMania, and putting everything else aside from what the fans think to what the WWE thinks, Roman needs to just take a step back and let somebody else have their moment in the sun. Not because he's taken a very important spot away from other superstars, but also, and most importantly, the fans need a break from him. The WWE Universe is feeling betrayed by a company they have put so much time, money, and support into. Sooner or later, something is going to give. You can make all the jokes about people threatening to hashtag cancel WWE Network and not following through on their threats, but at the end of the day, we're talking about human beings, and humans can only take so much betrayal before snapping. I believe it would be smart and sweet move for WWE to give something back to the people who keep the company alive. To end the video, I want to give my opinion on who I think should main event WrestleMania 34. And it's not Roman versus Brock. If anything, that should happen at SummerSlam and have Brock go over, have him retain the Universal Championship until WrestleMania 34 at the least. Because, well, hey, I'm a Brock fan, so I'm going to root for him at any given show, no matter what. But there's only one guy in the company who I believe should main event against Brock at WrestleMania 34 for the Universal Championship. And it's not Roman. It's not Undertaker. It's not John Cena. It's not Big Show or whoever else. There's only one guy, and, well, yeah. AJ Styles should main event WrestleMania 34 against Brock for the Universal Championship. I know they said it'd be SummerSlam, but that's just not the best move they need to go with. It's AJ versus Brock in the main event of WrestleMania 34. Oh, we might as well just not have, just no Roman main eventing this year, or this coming year. The best option, I believe, is AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar, and I'm gonna hold true to that until I see something else. Like, hell, my belief is maybe Undertaker's not done yet because they didn't even build up to him being retired at WrestleMania 33. So maybe he has one more year in it and they're just keeping it a secret from us. And hell, maybe even give him one last dream match, which I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about, hopefully. But I'll save that for another video. As it stands, though, I want Brock versus AJ Styles, the main event WrestleMania 34, with all respect to everyone in the WWE, including Roman Reigns.